Hello everyone. Hi, Dipanshu this side from Planify, and today I'll be covering a session on consumer discretionary, where I'd be talking about five companies that are into the private equity marketplace that we have, and I'm going to show you all about the company that you need to know whether you like to invest in the companies or not, and what is the kind of things expected returns that you could get out of these companies. So, firstly, let me just give you a brief about the industry first. So, now as we are going to talk about the consumer discretionary, so it is important for us to understand about what the industry is all about. So, talking about the consumer discretionary, it is a term for classifying goods and services that are considered non-essential consumer, but that are considered non-essential, and accordingly once we see about those products that are really not essential, but they are very much relative to the changes in the prices, and it is very responsive to that, and which would make it very much elastic to the demand is very much elastic to the prices of the commodities. And once we are talking about the commodities, so these commodities are, as I told you before, these are very non-essentials. And like also I'm going to tell you about the fast moving consumer good industry or consumer pack industry, which we all are aware of. So these includes producing, distribution, marketing, and fast moving consumer goods. So it is the fourth largest industry in the economy, so which also makes it fourth largest sector in the Indian economy, which is pretty much obvious, because every time whenever we think about buying something, so these for our day-to-day lives, so we often tend to buy those products which are really important and plays an important role. So that is what is about FMCG. And retail. Retail is a whole different segment where you could buy FMCG products or any other product that we'd like to have, just like a kirana store, just जहाँ पे आपको कुछ भी चाहिए होगा, तो you go on to that place and you will find different brands, and these some of all the brands in one place is called retailing. So you will see that there are many types of retail stores, including grocery, convenience, discount, independent, department store, do DIY, electrical, and specialty. So there are many segments upon which the retail sector is identified. So you can go on about many other companies, and the classic example of a retail industry company is Reliance Retail, which you all are aware of, backed by the Reliance Industries. Also, we are going to talk about the Reliance Industries over here as well. So now let me give you all the brief about all the company that we'll be covering for today. So firstly, I'm going to talk about these five companies, and I will go through all of the research report which I have created, so you can have a better understanding about how the company has been performing quantitatively wise and qualitatively. So the company that we are going to talk about for today are these five companies. These five companies are Urban Tots, Madbow, Bazar India, Reliance Retail, and Bikaji Foods. So we all are aware of these companies, as these companies are being traded on in the unlisted market, and their shares are also available on our platform as well. So now let me first go on to the first company that we have, that is our Urban Tots. So now let me just pull up the research report so you could see more about the company in a nutshell. So now, as you could see over in our Planify's page, you can see everything that you need to understand about the company. From snapshot provides you all the details in quantitative wise. But now, whenever you look onto the research report, you will see many sections that are going to cover everything that you might need to know about the company, that how the company has progressed, and it is going to make a presence in the future. So now there is a one section about the company itself. So as I am going to tell you about the Urban Tots, first thing that we need to know that the company is in the toy manufacturing industry. So when I talk about the toys manufacturing industry, we see that there are many Chinese products and Taiwan products are being imported in India. So there are really less players in the industry itself. So all of the products are being bought at cheap and sold at cheap, and these products are not made by eco-friendly product, eco-friendly materials. So if I'll talk about the Urban Tots, so this company has been creating non-toxic products which are really at demand, because we understand about the importance of health from COVID-19, and we also would like to have our kids play in such a manner that they are not going to get any toxic substance in their mouths and swallow them, and which will make them really prone to other diseases. So Urban Tot is one of those players in the overall industry which has no competitor at all. No listed company in India prepares manufacture toys. So if I'll talk about the company, so Deepak Houseware is primarily involved in the business of manufacturing and selling of plastic toys, electronic toys, and role plays. So, and their products are being sold at various retail outlets. So if I'll talk about the major ones, one thing is Reliance Retail, because Reliance Retail covers majority of the India. And if I talk about the niche retail outlets for toys, that is First Cry, and the second one would be Hamleys. We all understand the Hamleys are present, are there all over the mall. So being a non-toxic product, being out there in सारी रिटेल स्टोर्स में, सो वी कैन, हम लोग अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि इसका मार्केट एक्चुअली में बहुत अच्छी तरीके से मूव फॉरवर्ड कर रहा है, एंड साथ साथ में ये लोग उन जगह पे केटर करना चाह रहे हैं जहाँ पे इनकी रीच और जहाँ पे इनकी विजिबिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी हो। एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट कि उन्होंने क्या क्या चीज़ें अपनी उसमें कर रखा है अपनी प्रोडक्शन में, सो पहली चीज़ तो इन्होंने भिवाड़ी में राजस्थान में खोला है, एंड दे हैव बीन स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट for and they got few of the subsidies for their interest payment, which makes a lot of impact, because if you are borrowing and if it involves a huge because in the toy manufacturing industry it requires a huge cost of capital, and it is very capital intensive. So अगर आपकी डेट अगर आप सस्ते में उठाते हो तो ऑब्वियसली आपकी प्रोडक्शन ज़्यादा अच्छे से रन कर पाएगी, एंड you are not going to pay a lot of amount for their interest payment. So that would make them a profitable organization, which they have already created in FY22. So if I talk about कि कंपनी कब बनी थी, तो कंपनी बनी थी 2020 में, लेकिन ड्यू टू कोविड-19 लॉकडाउन, क्योंकि ये इंडस्ट्री इस तरीके से काम करती है कि चाइना और ताइवान ये मेजर प्लेयर्स हैं जो कि मोल्ड्स बनाते हैं। अब इन मोल्ड्स को इंडिया में करने के लिए ये सारी चीजें टॉय को मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए इंडिया में वी नीड टू इंपोर्ट दोस मोल्ड्स फ्रॉम चाइना एंड ताइवान। सो जहाँ पे ट्रेड रिस्ट्रिक्शन हो गया था तो अर्बन टॉट्स कुड नॉट मैन्युफैक्चर एनी ऑफ देयर और स्टार्ट इवन देयर ऑपरेशंस। सो जैसे इन लोगों ने ऑपरेशन स्टार्ट किया व्हेन द कोविड-19 लॉकडाउन रिस्ट्रिक्शंस वर लिफ्टेड in August 2021, so companies have started their operations, and within the span of just 7 months they have been able to generate 9 crores in revenue, which is a big number for having that kind of the sales in just 9 months. Okay, so now if I talk about कि कंपनी ने किस तरीके से अपना operations किया, तो in just 9 months, August 2021 से, so by the time of these 9 months company ने hi, so I'm going to take you through all everything you need to know about the Urban Tots from this research report, wherein you'll find everything you need to know about the company, starting from what does the company do, how the industry is performing, and regarding what are their strengths and the weaknesses of the company, which involves into SWOT analysis of the company. So now, firstly, I'd like to tell you about the company, that the company operates in a toy manufacturing industry. And if I just want to let you know about this one fact, that there are no companies in the listed player that manufacture toys. So this is like the company को पहला मूवर एडवांटेज काफी ज्यादा है इस चीज में, एंड इस तरीके से कंपनी अपना एक्सपेंशन भी कर सकती है, एंड ये दोनों की कोई कंपटीशन नहीं है। और चाइना और ताइवान जिनके प्रोडक्ट्स हम लोग कंज्यूम करते हैं फॉर द टॉय, जो टॉयज हम खरीदते हैं, दीज टॉयज आर मेड अप ऑफ टॉक्सिक सब्सटेंस व्हिच वी ऑल आर अवेयर ऑफ, एंड एज हम लोग मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम हम लोग इंडियन प्रोडक्ट ज़्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं, एंड दिस ऑल्सो अर्बन टॉट्स is manufacturing their products from Make in India initiative. It is also a part of it. And along with that, company को काफी तरीके से सब्सिडीज मिली है फॉर देयर इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट फ्रॉम राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट. कंपनी को काफी ज्यादा बेनिफिट्स मिल चुके हैं गवर्नमेंट से, बिकॉज दे आर वन ऑफ दो स्टार्टअप्स विच आर क्रिएटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ डिसरप्शन इन द मार्केट. तो अगर मैं अर्बन टॉट्स की बात करूं, जैसे हमारे सारे मोल्ड्स, अगर किसी को टॉय मैन्युफैक्चर करना है इंडिया में भी, सो दे नीड टू इम्पोर्ट मोल्ड्स फ्रॉम चाइना और ताइवान. सो इन लोगों ने क्या किया फ्रॉम द वेंचर्स, पुराने वेंचर्स ने, दीपक जी इज द फाउंडर ऑफ दिस कंपनी. तो दीपक जी ने had started preparing its own mold. So जहां से अब इन्होंने अपना मोल्ड बनाना शुरू किया, तो वहां से कंपनी में डिस्ट्रप्शन आना शुरू हो गई, बिकॉज हर कोई बंदा सारा इंपोर्ट जब मोल्ड करेगा तो ऑब्वियसली बात है उनकी कॉस्टिंग भी बढ़ेगी, और इसी कॉस्टिंग के साथ साथ में जाके आपके margins आपके shrink होना शुरू हो जाएंगे, and which will make them less profitable. But for this organization, the company has been doing fairly well. And if I'll talk about the financials of the company, which I'd like to show it over here. So the company had generated a revenue of 16 crores in FY22. Although there is one more fact about this number is the company had started the operation from the month of August 2021. क्योंकि despite being the company was incorporated in the year 2020, but because of COVID-19 lockdown, company कभी अपने operation start ही नहीं कर पाए, क्योंकि starting में you need to have molds to prepare toys, and जो कि उस टाइम पे trade restrictions के कारण जो उनके पास नहीं मिल पाए थे. लेकिन जैसे ही trade restrictions were lifted in August 2021, they were able to import molds and started having their own molds because of their need कि अगर हमारे पास molds नहीं है तो we won't be able to manufacture. So they have started creating their own molds, and which are currently in progress, and they have ready 4 molds which are in operations as of now in their factory. And you can also know more about the company over here when it comes to the financials of the company. If you want to firstly, if I'd like to say that if you want to know about the company, you can find it over here in the snapshot section, जहाँ पे आपको पता चलेगा कि कंपनी कहाँ पे रजिस्टर्ड है, कंपनी के प्रोडक्ट्स कहाँ पे सोल्ड आउट करते हैं, जैसे फर्स्ट क्राई, डी मार्ट, रिलायंस रिटेल, एंड दीज आर अमंग द प्रीमियम ब्रांड्स व्हिच यू ऑल आर अवेयर ऑफ, जहाँ पे आप हायर लग्जरी सेगमेंट को आप टारगेट कर सकते हैं. एंड यू कैन सी कि दीज प्रोडक्ट्स आर मेड अप ऑफ non-toxic substance which are really safe for kids to play with. तो इस तरीके से अर्बन टॉट्स इज मेकिंग एन इम्पैक्ट अमंग द इंडस्ट्री. और रही बात इसकी फंडिंग राउंड्स की, सो इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द फंडिंग राउंड्स, कंपनी had we in Planify had invested our own money into this company because we believe in the company that is going to generate high returns in the future. There are multiple reasons for it. Firstly, it is about their revenue performance. So if I'll calculate about 16 crore of revenue from just 9 months, so we will see that the company had been generating about 70 to 80 lakhs revenue every single day, which is a huge number for any startup to begin with. And इस तरीके से अगर कोई company revenue generate करती है, and this market is pretty much untapped because of these players, because of the Chinese players and unorganized players. So we all know कि उनकी market में value branding कम है as compared to all the products which are made in India and which are made up of non-toxic substances, which I'm emphasizing upon because it is really important. Once we had seen the COVID-19 restrictions, we all are aware that health is the primary thing that we need to focus upon. So that pretty much makes it one of the things that is going to sustain for a longer period of time. And now if I talk about subsidiary company does not have any joint subsidiary, definitely they won't have because it is just a startup as of now. So startup में हम लोग पहले subsidiaries का नहीं सोच सकते हैं, that is given fact. And if I talk about the business model of the company, as I've told you, the company are selling their products in one of the top retail outlets. And if I talk about Hamleys, they have also gained a contract from Hamleys for the for white labeling of they manufacture their own toys and they do white labeling by the brands, and these brands are being sold at Hamleys. So अगर मैं बात करता हूँ कि कंपनी के डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से, तो कंपनी के डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का काफ़ी सारे ब्रांड्स के साथ में है, रिलायंस रिटेल, हैमलेस, फर्स्ट क्राई। तो ये ब्रांड्स अपने आप में काफ़ी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट हैं, काफ़ी ज़्यादा नामी हैं। और ये सिर्फ ऑफलाइन की बात ना करें, हम अगर ऑनलाइन की बात करते हैं तो इनके प्रोडक्ट्स आर ऑल्सो अवेलेबल ऑन Amazon and Flipkart. Amazon and Flipkart are the leading players in the e-commerce marketplace. So I don't think कि और कहीं पे आप जाके आप ज़्यादा revenue generate कर सकते हैं rather than being on these two platforms, which is really which converts a lot of revenue from these online channels. So if I'll talk about the company का overall revenue, about 99.6% of the revenue comes from the sales of toys, and remaining 0.4% comes from the income. And now if I'll talk about the industry itself, so as I've told you about the industry itself, that there are no listed players in the market. Everything had been imported from China and Taiwan. So everything that you do over here, you are the first mover advantage, and the company is capitalizing upon to create a higher realization of its revenue, and keeping in fact with the manufacturing of mold of their own, and steadily which ये लोग करेंगे आगे जाके कि चाइना के जो भी सारे molds हैं, they are not going to use it and have their molds of their own, which will make them generate or say realize higher margins in the future. So now if I'll talk about the strength of the company, best possible sales channel, because as I told you, first Reliance Retail, Hamleys, everything, these are the primary sales channels that we can think of. So इन लोगों का उन पे वहाँ पे अपनी presence है, and online तो है ही, जैसे Amazon and Flipkart पे है. So this is one of those strength of the company. And they also have not only in India, they are selling their toys. So their products are being sold all over the world, just like Thailand, London, Hong Kong. तो ये सारी चीज़ें भी बहुत important रोल प्ले करते हैं जब आपके products are really up to the notch where people could think of buying it, and जहाँ पे higher realization of the revenue हो सके, वो model is the best suitable for the company to expand further. And now, if I talk about the company financials, let me go on to about that. So if I talk about the balance sheet of the company, you will see that the company has invested heavily upon assets, because in the earlier stages of organization, आप बहुत ज़्यादा इन्वेस्ट करते हैं अपने एसेट्स पे, ताकि आप अपना एक बेस मॉडल क्रिएट कर सकें, ताकि आप आगे जाके रेवेन्यू हायर रियलाइज कर सकें. एंड गिवन द फैक्ट यू नॉट गोइंग टू incur heavy capital expenditure by in the later months, in the later years. तो पहले ही अगर आप इस चीज़ को आप कर लेते हैं, ताकि आप आगे की अपनी सेल्स को हायर कर सकते हैं, which will ultimately will lead to higher asset turnover and correspondingly return on assets as well. So which you can also gather information about that over to our key ratio page, where we will explain, we have explained everything you need to know about each and every key parameters and key ratios. कि उनके पीछे का मतलब क्या है, what is driving that sales, what is driving their revenue, what is driving their EBITDA, EBIT, everything, every key ratio that we can generally see to know more about the company. And if I'll talk about, and there's one more important thing that I'd like to discuss about, is the debt to equity of the company. So we can see that the debt to equity is 1.19, which makes it considerably high. We all understand this. The heavy debt is more in the company, but we must also realize that the company is also gaining subsidy on their interest payment. So having more debt onto your account and having a financial leverage so that you can capitalize, and company has started raising funds using equity So which will definitely will help this debt to equity ratio gets lower by the coming future. And now, as I told you, the return on equity is pretty much high. It is 60.28, which is uh, which is quite remarkable in the toy manufacturing and in the manufacturing industry itself. And now, if I'll talk about the ownership of the company, so Mr. Deepak Chaudhary, he is a young entrepreneur with over 18 years of business expertise, and he has carried out his legacy by his father, and eventually leading him to become an expert in how the industry works. And in his earlier stages of his life, he started helping his dad out of how to create a model which would help them generate a high realization of revenue um, from the beginning. So this is all there to know about Urban Tots. Although you can also gather more about this about the information of the company over our news page, and we also mentioned about the corporate action that the company had done. So the company had issued bonus equity share in the ratio of 4:5, and the company has also right issue of to raise funds from family, because it is important to raise funds to introduce capital from friends and family. Either way, you cannot do it all on your own. And there's a fresh issue. A fresh issue of this had been made just to uh, increase equity, and by using equity to raise funds. That had been the sole reason for issuing fresh issues, which in later futures is going to help out the company expand a lot. And having that many of you in the company itself could actually bring in more ideas that how company could grow in the coming years. And the company is also planning to launch its IPO in the next 5 years. So we can also see about an exit in this organization. So that is had been the reason that generating a good revenue, 70 to 80 lakhs revenue every single day. And apart from that, the company is pretty much have capitalized upon its way. They have a 13,000 square meters of factory in Bhiwadi, Rajasthan. So इनके पास सारी चीजें हैं. All they need is to go on further and become a market leader, and they are emerging as of now. And eventually, we are going to see them being a dominant player everywhere. We are going to go into families. We are definitely will have to see whether the company would make its presence in those stores and become visible in the segment. And if I'll talk about the cash flow of the company, so cash flow of the company, as I've told you, the company has been pretty much burning out cash as of now. Eventually, this is not going to sustain further, as the company will incur will have lesser cash outflow, because they have already established everything. Now they only need to do is capitalize and repeat the process of how they are generating revenue. So I guess I have covered everything you need to know about Urban Tots. And if you want to know more about the company, you can look upon its annual report. You can see about the investment deck of the company to give you a brief view about the company. So now, if I show you about the investment deck of the company, so which I have pulled up already. So you can see कि company का अगर आपको brief information जानना है कि how the company is going to look up in the future, this has also been done by a registered valuer. So it is authenticated, and everything you see over here is done upon rigorous calculations. So as we could see, industry is going to expand further and further, because there is a huge population of children below 5 years. So eventually we are going to see population expansion, and with that population expansion, we are going to need something to entertain them, and eventually toys are going to be a part of it. So as you could see, you can know more about the company, about what is their risk profile, about us, and what is the competitive advantage. So as I told you, their presence, they have a good presence. There's a distribution contract. They have about 18 distribution contracts, domestic as well as abroad. And the company is also planning to expand it further. And Toys Mold, as I've told you, it was lately imported from China and Taiwan. The company has its own mold, which is the cost as well and provides a competitive edge. And now this is the pitch deck of the company. And if you want to know that what is the problem with the company has been solving, what exactly is the market size of the company, their financial projections, their business model, competitive edge, everything you need to know about it, including the team and something to know about the director itself. You can go it over there and look about it. You will see the valuations of the company. Also, this is one is also the valuation report. You can go and check it further to know about what is being recommended by the registered valuer about the valuations of the company. So you can invest accordingly. Also, I'll tell you the company is largely undervalued, so it is a good buy for at least you should hold it for 2 to 3 years to have good return on your portfolio. So now, if I'll go about, now I'm done with Urban Tots, and anything if you like to ask, you can surely ask me. You can mail us everything in you can mail us everything if you have any queries on if you could see our email below. Okay, so now I'll proceed further with our next company, that is Madbow. And let me just pull up the research report so you could see about this company. So as I've mentioned, everything you need to know about how our portal works, about other information that you could gather from our website. So I'll make it straight to the point that Madbow is an Indian commerce lifestyle fashion brand that makes creative, distinctive fashion for trendy and contemporary women. So एक ऐसी चीज जो मैडबॉ में सबसे अच्छी है कि they have different multiple brands that caters to different segments of the customers. So now if I'll talk about Myntra, so you are going to go and then search about any clothing thing that you want to buy, and you will see luxury brands over there being very pricey, and they're not very much affordable. If you see, if you want to go into specific segment, if you could see a larger portfolio of products, तो अगर आप मिंत्रा में जाते हैं तो मिंत्रा में you'll see कि आपको बहुत सारे products तो दिख जाते हैं, लेकिन they not from a similar ranges of product जिसमें आपको इतने options मिलते हैं choose करने के. Wherein Madbow, जिनकी presence already बहुत ज़्यादा है, when you see it over onto their website or even on their social media platform reach, they have about more than millions of reach on their Instagram on their social platform. So if I talk about Madbow first, so Madbow is an Indian e-commerce lifestyle brand. Temporary women के लिए बनाते हैं. They have different sites like Street Style Stock, Fashion, Street Style Stock, Play Deal, and many other brands which caters to a specific segment so that they could get a better deal, and they would have the choice of making choice among tons of apparel products which they could buy from their websites. Now, if I talk about the company has a diverse portfolio of lifestyle products like wear, ethnic. So everything we can understand about the company is that they are mostly involved into that caters to women's need of having their lifestyle products, which would include include outfits to shoes to heels, everything. So, and they have their online channels including mobile application, websites, and mobile sites upon which they let to build business vertical specific niche website, like as I already mentioned. So ये यहाँ से अपना रेवेन्यू गैदर करते हैं फ्रॉम डिफरेंट वेबसाइट, अनलाइक मिंत्रा जो कि एक जगह पे एक सारी चीजें करते हैं. दे वांट टू incorporate a lot of brands so that they could provide better services to the consumer of different segments. So which will make it really attractive for people to see कि कौन सी जगह पे वो कहाँ पे अपने प्रोडक्ट जाके खरीद सकते हैं, and which is in itself is a unique idea. Also they have they are very technological driven. So they have put in a place of SSTE, that is systematic solution to e-commerce, and which would automate everything that they need to do. And that had been the sole reason the company had been able to generate higher revenue, because it could count upon the SKUs, and in an efficient manner they can generate a higher sales without compromising about their inventory. So now, if I talk about the company, we all understand the infrastructure sector is one of the oldest industries in the Indian economy, dating back to 7th centuries. We all are aware of every thing that we can think about textile. The textile is going to be there as far as the population is going to rise. It is still going to be used, and which is going to be there for a longer haul without compromising. Okay, so now आप लोग सभी already जानते हैं कि industry is one of the oldest industry and company उस industry segment में जो कि necessity good है, तो company हमेशा ही in demand में रहेगी, और जब जितनी ज़्यादा उसकी presence होगी बाकी अलग अलग brands की अलग अलग जगह पे, उतना ही ये कंपनी रिलाइज करेगी हायर रेवेन्यू. एंड कंपनी ने अभी खुद ही कुछ ही टाइम में अपने एक्सक्लूसिव ब्रांड आउटलेट्स खोले हैं. सो ये सिर्फ नॉट ओनली इज कमिंग ऑन टू द coming as an e-commerce platform, but it is also enrolling into itself into offline retail outlets. तो इससे क्या होगा कि आप not only you are making a brand impression on the digital platform, but you're also making an impact into the offline stores as well. So जितनी ज़्यादा visibility होती है उतनी ज़्यादा brand की recognition होती है, और उसके हिसाब से इनका revenue ज़्यादा हो सकता है आगे in the future. And if I talk about the company's strength, so they are, as I told you, they are retail tech company, and they have created retail technology, but it helps them to diversify into multiple channels and grow and register growth of year on year on every brand that they have. So as I've told you about systematic solution to e-commerce, which is there in the organization, which caters to all the management that needs to be done. They have built business vertical specific niche website for specific consumers. So as I've told you, this is an important thing, and that sets this apart from every other competitor in the industry. And this is to know about the company and the company. And if I talk about the financials of the company, so the company has been progressing year on year. You could see there's an increase in the revenue of the company. Sorry, in FY, if you see about the profits of the company, the profits has also been growing really well. They have generated about 19 lakhs of revenue in FY21, despite facing COVID-19 restrictions, which was which took a toll on a lot of the industry, and I could say in the overall Indian economy. So Madbow is one of those outperformers which have delivered and used that digital presence that arose by the time of COVID-19. And if I'll talk about the company's profitability, hence as I've told you, despite being in FY21 as a startup, the company has been able to generate 19 lakhs of profit in FY21, so which will make it a really profitable organization with increasing in the store outlets online and increasing the presence in online and offline channels and having more brands in their umbrella. They are going to establish a higher growth, and this would make the company sets apart from every other company, because they have been capitalizing on everything that is required for an for a fashion apparel company to grow further. And if I'll talk about the solvency of the company, which had been marked as 3-star, and because there has been also we could see there is a dip in the debt to equity of the company, but its current ratio is comparatively low, as the current assets are not that significant high from their current liabilities. Although it is just a part of 1 or 2 years that this solvency is going to remain in such manner. But eventually, once everything had been capitalized upon, and when they established all of their asset base and increase their presence, eventually this current ratio is going to get higher and higher. And this was also be done as the company would require much to has been not been incurring the long-term debt, but incurring the short-term debt to meet its working capital requirement based upon the requirements. So as of now, the company there has been an increase in the current liability of the company because of the current maturities of long-term debt. So they have taken up a long-term debt, but but the current maturities falls into the current liabilities, which makes current liability go up higher and leading to lower current ratio as it has been really significantly low as 1.34. Although this could have been done better. And apart from that, interest coverage ratio, interest has been relatively high because as the company had undertaken debt, so with an increase in the debt, there would be increase in the interest payments, and with the increase interest in the payment, and as far as if you're talking about the EBIT of the company, so EBIT had not been that very high to have it interest coverage ratio to go up. And you can know more about the operating efficiencies of the company and the profit margins, and you could see that there is a growth, and you could check up on all the rationals to see how the company has what was the reason for that increase in the margins of the company. Although with considerable increase in the debt and infused equity from paid up capital to further expand themselves somehow impacted the ROA company. Total equity of the company grew by 2.9x over the net income growth of 76%, leading to lower ROE. The company is expected to get higher returns in the future with infused equity in place, as the company has started raising funds through using equity from Planify. So eventually, this is lower because of this infusion of equity, but leading up to it, the company would use its capital to expand further, and with that everything in place and growing more offline presence and having higher visibility will lead to higher return on equity in the coming years. But as of now, the company had not been being very consistent with its return on equity. And if I'll talk about its peers, and if I'll see it over here, the company has EV by EBITDA of 7.49 against the competitor. These are the listed companies that have been there for a longer period of time, and still the company has been generating fairly well when compared to its peer. And if I talk about it, uh, despite being such a small company, the company has PE of 13, which is higher than its peer. And if I'll talk about EV by EBITDA is 7.49, which makes it considerably well. Although the company is, as I've told you, with the current expansion plans and with uh, increase in more in the sales of the whole company, and in FY22 we can expect the sales to go up higher than with experiencing higher growth rate from FY21. So that had been the reason that the company is bound to do better in the future, and with expansion plan in plan and the upcoming of its IPO in the future, the company would provide a good value to the investors, and this is what investing stock. And I would say that you shall look upon the company as a qualitative wise, and along with that quantitatively, the company is doing fairly well, and with the quality that they have been gaining in the market and the popularity, uh, its stock is going to rise up further as of now. So now if I talk about the third company that we have is Bazar India. So we all understand about how important it is to have to go into any outlet and see if the products are being sold at really sold at over सारे प्रोडक्ट जितने भी हैं वो सारे ओवर प्राइस हैं. So हम we do not cater we do not go and fetch all of those because it is really expensive and it is hard on our budget as well. But Bazar India had came up with a concept that they would create a affordable clothing. They would provide everything under affordable ranges, so that uh, जितने भी लोग हैं, because India as a population has the largest segment of middle class population or lower class population than the richer ones. So we understand that they would also require something to wear and to improve their household. So having that onto the board of being affordable range, providing affordable ranges to consumers, the company is gaining popularity. And if you want to see about the company as well, the company had, and if I talk about the revenue of the company has been able to generate significantly higher revenues with the coming years. But as like in the later quarters of in the later years of F1, in later years of FY19, FY20, and FY21, the company had not been able to perform very consistently. And in FY21, the company had been hit, the company were hit really hard because of COVID-19 lockdown, as the company operates in mostly in the offline stores. So with that lockdown in place, nobody could operate their stores, which had generated that lower revenue realization. But as the company had been generating revenue of around 350 above, so the company is not only that it had been stuck with the revenue of 187, but it is eventually going to bound further with the one as COVID-19 restrictions were already lifted. So company is expected to generate about 300 crores of revenue in FY22, which will make it back to its pre-COVID level, and eventually with having more of its store in Northeast India, because they only cater to Northeast Indian, because uh, Northeast India, because the segment of the population that they are targeting is mostly on these places. So by having more of their presence in, they have currently have about 58 stores as of now. So having that many stores, and including more of the stores in the coming future, the company is expected to do very well when it comes to having presence. And eventually this has also been leading to higher realization of revenue in the coming years, as it has been catering to everything that you need to do, that you need to have it for your household activity. So they have created their own, uh, you'll say, motto of providing fashion ke saath bachat bhi, and one-stop shop caters to the complete and fashion needs of the entire family. The company has raised a fund of 25 CR from HNIs, using from their Series A funding rounds, and the company has also started to looking upon raising more and more capital using equity. So Planify is among those company uh, which has been facilitating Bazar India to rise up further, and Bazar India being a leader in the segment of catering to affordable household products is unique, and having that kind of a presence in India, and especially in Northeast India, is going to drive its realization of sales higher and higher with expanding population and rising disposable income of individual in an economy. So as I told you, retail is one of the things that are really dependent upon the elasticity of demand is very high when it comes to those retail products. And if the price is relatively lower than your competitors, then eventually people are going to get things from your store and generate higher realization of revenue. So meaning that the company is going to generate a higher realization of revenue, not from uh, their margins, but from the from the quantity. And they have also started to put up their own brands, started selling uh, women women apparels onto their offline stores, which eventually is going to generate higher margins. Along with that, with having more and more quantity, the sales is going to get higher, and that has been the reason the company has been valued at uh, significantly high, because what we see over here is the price of 75 rupees. The company is expected to generate about 10x of its current price in the coming 3 to 5 years, and we can expect to have the stock for a longer period of time. So these are few things that you need to know about the Bazar India. Also, if you want to check something uh, about the news of the company, you can also see it over here. And if you'd like to see about what is their business model, what is their what's the uh, how does it solve the problem, you can go on and have a look over the pitch deck or the investment deck, so you can see and analyze yourself whether the company is a good investment or not. So coming on to the point, let me just move ahead and go on to the fourth research report, that is Reliance Retail. Reliance Retail, we all are aware of Reliance Retail. Their revenue is significantly high, and as you could see over here, the company has recently released its FY22 results, and the results are really well. The company had been able to generate higher realization of revenue, was higher from FY21 and significantly higher. Company has been able to operate at higher EBITDA, higher margins levels, and you can also get to know about those about the information that you could get from subscribing to our newsletter, which you could get about how has the company have progressed from uh, from last year to the current year. You can get all the updates from having it yourself enrolled into our platform. So yes, and accordingly, but one thing that uh, that is significantly a problem for Reliance Retail is that company is being traded at 3,225. And if I look upon the market share of the company, the market share of the market cap of the company is about uh, is about 16 lakh crores, which is which is just as same, which is lies in the same range of Reliance Industries. And Reliance Industries stock has been traded at about 2,000 to 3,000 ranges. And if the stock is already being it has a price of more than 3,000, then eventually the company clearly is an overvalued stock. And if the company is planning to launch upon its IPO, then eventually they are going to do a stock split or bonus issue, which would eventually going to lead up to lower prices, lower share price in the future. So that is had been the reason the company is put on as sell rating from us, because eventually, despite generating a good revenue sufficient, but it cannot be as big as Reliance Industry as it is. Reliance Industry is a bigger organization which captures a larger segment of uh, sectors, and which covers almost everything that we could think of, from Geo to many other brands which are there in the which comes under the umbrella of Reliance Industries, and who knows how many. There are so many of them, as to say. So now, if I talk about Reliance Retail, so Reliance Retail has a positive outlook. Everything we can see over the company is one of the largest, fastest growing. The company is performing really well, as we could see about the FY22, because FY21 definitely had not been a good year for the whole Indian economy. But eventually, the company has remained stable on its level, not went that lower as it as per the market conditions. But yes, talking about the management, accounting practices, profitability, although sometimes the company lacks. And if I talk about the profitability of company, then we should definitely should look upon the margins of the company. And if I see over here, the margins of the company had shrank a lot from 5.82 to 5.08, although it had been uh, it is it is not that very profitable, as you could say, because in 2019 the company had been able to gather about 4.8% of a EBIT margin. So in FY20 to even FY2020, the company had been able to have 5.82 of EBIT margin. So what happened in FY19 that had caused it a lower profitability in FY19 and higher profitability in FY20. So this is the major problem with the organization having a lower profitability as we speak. So the company is not performing very well on profitability, but once the annual results uh, are going to get out, we are going to know more about the company's profitability and every situation we might know about. So now let me talk about the last company that we have in our bucket, that is Bikaji Foods. So the company has recently filed its DRHP, and the company is a visionary company. I would say the company has been relatively fairly valued. The company has a larger segment. Everything we do snacking, or every time we do snacking, we either consume Bikajis or Haldirams. So we could say Bikajis is the dominant leader in its segment. It captures about, and when we talk about, you could also see that over here in the about of the company. The company has about 5 super stock is 438 direct and 1,644 indirect distributors, which has which makes it um, which makes it available at every corner of India. So this is and it's spread across 22 states and 3 union territories in India. This means the company has a wide distribution network all over India. And if I'll talk about its products, like if I'll talk about the Bikaji Bhujia, we all understand that we only consume Bikaji Bhujia, and it is about we it captures about 78% of the overall market. The company is planning to raise its IPO using um, only by using its offer for sale by of equity shares of 29 lakh 373,984 of rupees one year each. The company had done multiple funding rounds, as you could see. Uh, although the company ने Lighthouse Advisor India Private Limited से 90 करोड़ की फंडिंग भी उठाई है. So company ने काफी बार फंडिंग भी उठाई है. Company had done several acquisitions uh, which had helped them raise capitals and which are strategically uh, good for the company to expand further and have a wider distribution network all over India, and they mostly relies on lower SKUs. So their lower SKUs from 5 or 10 rupees products are the ones that generate the significant sales in the company itself. And if we'll talk about sales of the product, so we can understand that 96.4% coming of the sale, as this is one of the uh, FMCG product. So if I'll talk about the packaged food industry, we could see packaged food industry include bakery and dairy products, and growth is primarily driven by prevalence of nutritious family culture and changing lifestyle, which has led to working out more convenient and healthy options for food. Bikaji also provides healthy options for food, and these are on only in packaging. And so once we are thinking about snacking, we can go out and take a bite of Bikaji's bhuji, and we are good to go. So with being that lower SKUs and making that kind of an impact, it is, and being endorsed by Amitabh Bachchan as well. So the company has laid out its foundation upon having in FY21 as well. The company did not incur that many of advertising, because they have already done it by putting by having Mr. Amitabh Bachchan on board with them as their brand ambassador. Although company's strength, leading exporter of Indian ethnic snack food, they cover about undertaking brand building initiative to increase brand recall by having Mr. Amitabh Bachchan over there, and their ad being done on a television several times. The company has, as I've told you, has a good distribution network. The company direct product portfolio contains about 250 foods from all product categories, which in itself is a huge sum if I talk about the category itself. And now, if we only want to look upon the financials of the company, so we could see in FY22, these are the numbers for the based upon half yearly data. But we could see that even in COVID-19, everyone because we were at home and we had almost we had a lot of things to do. But at that point of time, what we all could think about is how we could have snacks and enjoy our times with our families. So that had been the reason for uh, having that kind of a realization of revenue in the time of FY21, and which also with the higher realization of sales, their profitability has also increased by 90.21. But to be specific, if you want to see about the margins, and we will see that their operating margin has rose significantly. So talking about the profit after tax margin, EBIT margin, PBT margin, with the high realization of revenue and having to incur lower expenses, as their expenses in FY20 they had made a huge expense of having Mr. Amitabh Bachchan on board. So in FY21 they did not make such expenses, and along with that there were other expenses as well, which they had reduced upon, which you could see over in our rationing section. You could see everything you need to know about uh, each and every key metric to understand about the company, which you could see over here. And I guess the company is a good buy because it can provide you with the exit of taking an exit from the company as the company is already in the process of launching its IPO. The company has launched its IPO in um, on February 2nd, 2022. So it has not been that far. The company is going to be launched on NSE or BSE. So you just need to wait for the stock to get listed, or you can buy it directly from us and um, have and realize higher and do not need to bother about the availability of shares by the time of booking your shares in the IPO at the IPO. So yes, that is all there. I could share about all the private companies, all the FMCG, all the consumer discretionary retail and FMCG companies that are being traded on Planify. Um, and if you want to know more about anything that you'd like to share, anything you want to say, you can also write your comments in the below section. So I hope you all the best and keep investing. Thank you.